Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this DELL XPS 139305. So we're going to be using a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Alright, and we're just going to be removing all the screws from the bottom. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put the flat side down like this, alright, in the pattern I remove them, so you have this kind of shape here, alright, depending which way you're working on it. So I'll have 4 along the front of the laptop and then 2 going down each side. All right. Okay, so once you get all 4 of those out, we're going to continue going down. All right, if this video helps you out, make sure to like and subscribe so others can find my videos. All right, and other than that, hopefully this video helps you out. Okay, let's get all these screws out. Alright, once we got all these screws out, we should be able to pop this out. You might have to use some pry tools. Usually I'll use my fingernails and get along this little seam here where the microphones are. These little holes are actually microphone holes. Alright, let's go ahead and see if we can do that. So I'm going to get my fingernails in that gap there. And then once I do that, I'll push with my thumb on the back while I pull with my fingernails. Okay, so just like this. Alright, you can see it pops up a little. Alright, and we're just going to work our way going across. Again, you can just use pry tools if you want. You don't have to use fingernails, whatever works for you. Okay, alright, so here you can see there's a gap here now. Okay, so if I were to kind of separate these two pieces, okay, here you can see there's somewhat of a big gap. Alright, so we're just going to continue going all the way around. Hopefully you guys can see. Okay, we're just going to continue going around the sides now, doing the same thing, pushing with my thumbs and pulling with my fingernails. Okay, I'm going to go around to the other side. Excuse me. Alright, and continue doing the same thing. Alright, you can actually feel it pops up. Alright, this can be a little tricky to remove. Okay, let's go ahead and see here, what do we got? So now we're getting this open, okay? Alright, so the back part is a little bit more tricky. You kind of have to just keep working it, slowly working your way around, prying it, pushing, pulling, okay? Just like this, okay? Wow, this one's stuck pretty strong. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn it around again and continue going around this edge. Okay, so I don't know, the back is a lot more difficult to pop up. Usually once you get it, the design, you kind of have to wiggle and pull it. So here you see, I was kind of wiggling this up and down, like side to side, depending which way you're holding it, while pulling on it, and you can see this actually came out quite a bit, and there we go. Okay, so here you can see inside. So the customer told me they spilled liquid on here, so we're just kind of gonna take a quick look. I don't see any crazy damage, but this one I'm likely going to have my partner look into it. Let's go ahead and disconnect the BIOS or CMOS battery here. I don't see any upgradable RAM or anything like that. I'm just gonna grab this and wiggle this to disconnect the BIOS or CMOS battery, or RTC, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we're going to also disconnect the main battery here. Okay, same thing, I kind of just wiggle that and then pull it out. Alright, and if you can go ahead and pull the connector all the way completely out, just like that. Be careful not to let the connector go in at a crooked angle, because then you can damage the pins inside. And there we go, we have the battery disconnected. The battery, if you're wondering, let's see if there's a model here. To prevent damage to battery, ensure all screws and hardware are accounted for during reassembly. Okay. Anyways, here you go. Type battery DXGH8. That's the battery model. It just has several screws holding it. You will need a PH1 and PH1 or JS1, as well as a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver. Let me actually zoom out and show you what I mean. So these screws on the corners, oops, it's not zoomed out enough. So these screws on these corners and down here are using PH1 or JS1, and then to remove this you'll need a PH0 or JS0 screwdriver. Okay, we're not going to be completely disassembling this thing. Let me we'll just remove the battery at least. So switch to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver, and let's go ahead and remove these. Again, you want to keep all the screws in order. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these screws out. If they're lucky, the water dried up enough that it didn't leave any residue. So far, I don't see any issues inside, but you never know. Okay, so we remove those screws. We're gonna now switch over to the PH0 or JS0 screwdriver and remove this middle one up here. All right, there we go. And now let's go ahead and lift the battery out. I like to use the corner edges here and just get underneath, and we can lift it up. All right, so there we go. All right, looks clean inside, just a little bit of dust. Here you can see the touchpad or trackpad connector here. You have the keyboard connector here. You have this, the indicator lights up here. What else? You have this keyboard backlight cable here. And then you have this cable going to the motherboard. I'm not sure what that's for. I think it's also for the keyboard. Okay, speaker connector, speakers here. Wire runs along here, and they both actually connect right here. So this wire goes here, the other one runs along up there. Keyboard looks replaceable. It's held in with these little PH0 or JS0 screws. But you will have to remove the motherboard. LCD LVDS connector. If you're going to mess with this, make sure after disconnecting the battery to open it up and press and hold the power button for 15 seconds. Then you have the headphone jack here. It looks like you can actually just pop this connector up. Yep, just like that. And that's how you disconnect that. I'm going to pop it back in. There's one screw, it looks like, holding that in place. Okay, wireless card is soldered to the motherboard right here. And the antennas are underneath this metal bracket. I'm not going to mess with that. There's also a connector under here that also goes into the screen. Might be for the cameras and everything. But those are like a pull. You pull it straight up and it pops out. And the cable runs along up there. All right. And there's not much else here. There is an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. We'll use the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to remove this. Okay, it looks like there's just one screw here, and the CPU is soldered to the motherboard, just in case you're wondering. Alright, so here you can see we can pull this up, and then it slides out from this metal piece here, so you pull it back slightly, and there we go. Alright, sounded like something fell inside the computer. Let me turn it over and make sure. Okay, no. Alright, this is a... Yeah, it's a PCIe NVMe SSD. All right, the SSD, once you get that bracket off, you can actually lift this up slightly and you can kind of wiggle and pull this out. All right, comes out just like that. Oh, there's also a thermal pad on the bottom. Anyways, we're gonna put this back in. Let's see if they're lucky and if it's gonna power up. So I'm gonna put this SSD back in for now. We're gonna slide this piece back into this piece. Okay, there's actually a slot that holds it there, so make sure you get it in the right way. Okay, and then we'll just line this back up and get that screw back into place. Okay, so get this screw back in. Okay, so now that we got everything disconnected, let's go ahead and open up the screen. You want to open it slowly and carefully because you don't have as much force holding these hinges down since the cover's off. All right, we're going to press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. This will drain any residual power and make it a lot safer to work on. And also, if there is some BIOS issue, this will help with draining that. Again, liquid was spilled on this, so that's why it's having some problems. Okay, I am going to short the 2 pins there for the CMOS or BIOS. We're just going to use a piece of metal. I'm going to use this screwdriver. Okay, the T5 or Torx 5, and we're just going to touch both pins here together. All right, I'm going to hold that for about a few seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. You don't have to hold it that long. Okay, should be good. All right, so let's go ahead now and see if this will turn on or anything, or if the indicator lights will turn on. I'm going to try plugging in a charger here. Okay, so this charges by USB-C. Maybe I should go get the DELL charger, but I have one USB-C charger here, so let's see if anything happens. Nothing. Nothing at all. Okay, let me go get the DELL charger and just confirm. I don't think it's gonna make a difference. All right, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let's go ahead and try with the actual DELL charger and see if there's any difference. Nothing at all, no lights. If I push the battery charge button, nothing's happening. Let's try if we reconnect the batteries. I don't think that's gonna make a difference. Okay, plug in the CMOS or BIOS battery. And we'll plug in this battery. If you're replacing these batteries, make sure you have the wires facing the right way. The red one is down towards the regular battery and the black one is up towards the fans. All right, and this one, the red ones are going towards that side and the black ones are going towards the fans, okay? So let's go ahead and get this lined up. Pinch the connector in together. All right, let's go ahead and plug this in and see if anything happens here. I'm going to zoom out a bit because it zoomed in way too much, sorry. Okay, and see if anything happens. No lights, nothing. Yeah, I think the motherboard's fried. I think the customer tried to turn it on before after the spill, so that thing got fried. Anyways, I'm gonna test the SSD for them. If you're wondering, no, you don't have to take out the battery to remove the SSD. It's not an issue, okay? The only problem is if you drop some metal stuff in here while you're working on it. So if you feel like you're clumsy or that might happen with you, just to be extra safe, you can disconnect the batteries and then hold the power button for about 15 seconds. All right, anyways, let's get the battery screws back in here. And that's pretty much all there is that I'm going to show in here. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. Let me actually check this here. I want to see if the I'm going to switch to the smaller screw. I forgot to put this screw in. Okay, I don't want to pull this cable out, but I kind of want to just check underneath this metal bracket to see if anything is like burnt. Okay. And that's why I'm leaving the battery connected, because it's okay since I'm not taking the connector out. And I don't see anything that looks weird there. Okay, well, this laptop is probably not going to be repairable, but we'll find out. I'll have to have my partner take a look at it and see. Alright, so I'm going to test their SSD first because they kind of wanted to know if their data is even recoverable. Their SSD doesn't look bad or anything, so most likely their data is going to be okay. But yeah. Alright, so I'm going to pop this out. And we're just going to use I have a PCIe NVMe to USB adapter to check that. Okay, and if you want the motherboard model number, there it is, the LA-K461P. Alright. And yeah. Alright, that's pretty much it. I'm going to test the SSD and then I'll be back to reassemble it. And yeah, alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So, turns out this thing is BitLocker encrypted. I'm going to have to see if the customer knows the 48-character BitLocker key, recovery key. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get their data. Anyways, we're going to put this back in. Okay, slide that back on. Get that back lined up. Alright, and then we're just going to reassemble this thing. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. I know I didn't really show too much. I mean, there's not too much you can do in here other than the battery and the SSD and the speakers. Excuse me. Anything other than that is pretty complex, so the average person wouldn't be able to really do it, or it'll be very risky. So we are just going to leave this as is. We'll go ahead and put this back. We did plug the battery, CMOS battery, and the SSD back in. Okay, as well as the headphone jack, of course. Alright, so let's go ahead now and get this back lined up. Okay, we'll start with the top edge since that's what went last, and then we'll just snap it all into place. Alright, and we'll get all the screws back in. I don't know why it keeps going out of focus. I think the silver or something is too hard for it to focus on. We're going to switch back to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. Flip this over again and get all these screws back in. But again, that's pretty much it. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Other than that, you're welcome to stay while I put back the rest of the screws. And that's pretty much it. Alright, let's get these screws in. Okay. Last screw. Alright, thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.